Hi, Grandpa. What pets did you have when you were growing up?
Well, the date is October the 2nd, 2019, and I thought I'd comment about the pets that I've had over my years. And the first dog I ever had, I think I was in grade 6, and I lived at 297 Indian Grove. And we had a little dog, it was a Pomeranian, and the dog's name was Perky. And I came home from school one day, and unfortunately, my parents said he had gone away for a vacation. Well, of course, he never came back from that vacation. So years went by, and finally, when I had a family in the 1970s, we got a little dog called Coquette. It was a Yorkshire Terrier, a little petite dog. I would often put it in my neck like this, and his head would pop out, and it would scare people when it moved. It was really cute. A real sweetheart of a dog. And when unfortunately I was divorced, it was left with my wife, Lise, and the kids. So that was that dog. So finally, years passed, and I finally ended up with a lovely lady, as you probably now know, Elizabeth Paris Lai, and we eventually got married. But however, we went to Europe, to Italy actually, and Sicily specifically, and we went there to see if we could live together. We spent a month in Europe. And when we came back, we went up to PJ's Pet up at Yorkdale. And at Yorkdale, she said, I hadn't been to PJ's Pet there for years. So we went downstairs, and there was cubicle after cubicle of cute little puppies. And so after we finished shopping, we were walking to the car, and she said, or I said rather, would you ever have a dog? Because I know you love animals. And her answer was, no. And she then asked me, would I like a pet or a dog? And I said, well, I particularly like the little Pomeranian and the one that was dry humping a toy. That's a man's dog, I said. So she laughed. Well, the next thing I knew, we were driving home, and she had the Pomeranian in her lap, and she'd already decided to call it Teddy Bear. It was a reddish-colored Pomeranian. And so as we're driving home, she said, who's going to train the dog? And I said, what do you mean, who's going to train the dog? Well, you live where you live in Sackville, and I live where I am. I need your help. I want you to move in with me for 2 weeks. Well, of course, the 2 weeks became 2 months, and 2 months became a lifetime. We actually renovated the place because I'd moved in. It was a house built in 1929, so it required a great deal of renovations, but nonetheless, I like to joke that dog cost us $500,000 because we moved in together and we had to renovate the house. Anyway, 2 years later, we went away on a vacation. We came back. Teddy was crazy when he met us and was all over us and kept barking and licking and loving and that sort of thing. And I said, the only way I can get this dog off my back is to get another dog. So I went out and I discovered this little black Pomeranian, and I told Elizabeth to come up and take a look at it, and she thought the dog was ugly as hell, wanted to call it Ugly Betty, and I said, no way. Anyway, we called it Bella. It looked like a bat out of hell. Big ears and skinny and strange looking, but nonetheless, she grew up to be a beautiful dog. So 2 years later, unfortunately, Elizabeth had a cancer scare, and she had to take 6 months off of work. And she said, the two dogs love you because you're the alpha male, and I'd like to get a dog that would love me and me only. I'd be the alpha person, okay? So that's when we got Willie. And Willie stuck with her for 6 months, but as soon as she went back to work, guess who the alpha male was? It was me, okay? And but that's the way it was. A year later, regrettably, Willie got killed in the road in front of the house. It took us months to recover, to be honest with you. We would just start crying at the mention of his name. It was very, very touching and horrendous. We buried Willie in the backyard here, and a little ceremony and a few tears, and he's still there. A dog that touched our heart. The next morning, however, we went out and got another dog, a white one, and his name was Sunny. We hoped it would be a sunny disposition. And Sunny is with us now. So our dogs are, in the case of Teddy, he's 13 years old. In the case of our black dog, Bella, she's 13 minus 2 makes 11, okay? 11, let's see, 11, 12, 13, that's right, 11. And our other one is 9 years old now, and that's Sunny. So that's the story of our dogs, although my wife would like to have a cat, which I don't want at all. And that's the story this day. Take care. Bye-bye. Well, I have to add this to this video. I forgot two things. First of all, some pets that we had at home when I mean Chantal, your mother, was a kid. We used to have rabbits. In fact, when you have rabbits, you end up having dozens of rabbits, which is what happened with us. We had these little 2 white dwarf rabbits, and of course they loved each other, and we had a lot of rabbits after that. The other thing is I forgot about a beautiful dog I had when I was single, and then I met your mother, you know, Grandma Lisa, and the dog's name was Snowy. It was a Samoyed. It was a beautiful, beautiful dog. So these are 2 other pets that I forgot to add to the list.